welcome to RotoGrinders Today. I'm Jordan Cooper, a.k.a. BlenderHD, BlenderHD. You're going to follow me on Twitter. And it's Friday, November 22nd. We'll be taking a look at GPP strategy for NFL Week 12 slate on DraftKings. So hit the thumbs up button on your way in the door. Give me those thummy thumbs, right? Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to always know when we go live here on the YouTube channel. And join me on Friday, former Millie winner, GPP extraordinaire expert. It's Bobby Gomes, 1/3 of the People Show. If you listen on Sunday morning, you definitely should. I always wake up 9:30 in the morning Eastern. Our entire Sunday block. It's typically Dean, Tim, and Bobby starting out, and then Eric and Neil on the flannel takes, and then it's a random mess. TJ and a random Brett and Christy, and depends, Will sometimes. Leading right up into lock. So definitely tune into that on Sunday morning for this 10-game slate, Bobby. I'm not that excited about the slate. I don't know about you. There's a lot of high totals, a lot of big favorites. But in looking at the slate, we'll talk it through. We'll have our tiers. Typically, I come into this show on Fridays looking at ownership, our initial runs of ownership, and I go, here's the spot that's under-owned. Like, this is what I'm excited to do. I'm not sure. I'm also not sure I'm not really sure what the chalkiest spot is going to be. It almost feels as if there's a bunch of obvious spots and they're about all owned, but maybe not one is that much more owned than the other. And it just comes down to, well, which one would you rather play? Because there's also like half the teams are like practically unplayable.
Yeah, I'm with you. And then I see Joe Mixon chalk, and I've been trying to, like, at the running back position, get under on Joe Mixon the last couple slates he's been on, and he's just been burying me. So, yeah. So
he won't be chalk on the slate, Bobby. No, Joe Mixon.
He won't be chalky. I feel like
that's going to be a contrarian. That's going to be a contrarian. Mixon's going to be contrarian. I mean, not super contrarian. I mean, he'll be owned, but like, no, I don't think he's going to be chalk on the slate at all.
Interesting.
But that's the key. I mean, we have to discuss through what do you think people are going to do, because we can see what the best options and best games are. I think everyone can. Just which ones do people go to more than others, and how do they stack, and how do they play these teams? And from an ownership perspective, I'm not sure if that much is that off, but maybe you'll have a different opinion. Just like with Joe Mixon. Like, Joe, I don't think Joe Mixon probably won't be one of the top 5 owned running backs on the slate. Maybe the 6th highest owned running back or something at 8K. Right. Well, we'll get to that game. I know we're going game by game, but one of the chalky teams on the slate is in the first game we'll talk about Kansas City at Carolina. Kansas City, a 10.5 point favorite on the road with a 26.75 implied team total. Carolina with one of the lowest implied team totals on the slate, 16.25. Everyone picks on Carolina, right? I mean, it's just a theme throughout the year that just play players against Carolina. Travis Kelce, although he wasn't as involved with the offense last week, he's 5,800. If you're going to pay up a tight end, I'm assuming that's going to be where you go. Kareem Hunt, even with Pacheco back, depending on what the split you think between Hunt and Pacheco, the betting market assumes that Hunt is going to get like 80% of the work. His prop is up to 72.5 rushing yards and like minus 155 for a touchdown. 5,700 is a great price for him. I think he's going to be one of the most owned running backs on the slate. But outside of that, from a stacking perspective, I mean, Patrick Mahomes has not really shown a ceiling in practically 2 years. And then once you throw in a Hopkins, a Worthy, Noah Gray catching passes, you always have Justin Watson or McCole Hardman out there. Stacking is typically not all that prevalent with the Chiefs. But, I mean, can you play a Mahomes, Hunt, Kelce team and like the rest of your lineup? I think so. It just comes down to how long you think these people are going to be, because I just don't think people want to play Patrick Mahomes. I think it's more likely that people play Kelce as a one-off or Hunt as a one-off than play a full stack of the Chiefs. Even though, they have a super total against the Panthers, I don't know. Are the Chiefs a big play team anymore? Or are they the type of team where they're just going to have 9-minute drives where they have 14 plays and then they just win like 24-10?
It seems like they've kind of adopted like the Patriots play between the hashes, tight end, scat back, and like slot wide receiver mentality. And it's kind of reverted from when they had Tyreek and they were throwing it deep every other play. I still think there's a ceiling there. And I think that if you're playing these Chiefs like Hunt and Kelsey, the way to differentiate them in tournaments would be to play a 5% owned Patrick Mahomes, right? Along with them. And I think that makes for a good stack. I don't think it's going to show up much if you run Sims too much. So for me, like I think it's something that you can definitely get over on, especially with that team total being 27. Correlating the three pieces, Mahomes, Hunt, Kelsey, and maybe throwing in a guy like Hopkins. If you're playing the stack, it's going to be differentiated. If you're playing the pieces, like you said, it's not going to be very unique. So I would put the Chiefs in the B tier just because Carolina, like the run backs, aren't fantastic. I don't even think we have a run back on Carolina. But yeah, Chiefs in the B tier.
Yeah, I like this take in chat. Not expecting Chiefs to have a ton of yards, but working with short fields with how bad Carolina is. So you could take a shot on getting multiple touchdowns. Like I actually think that a way that you could play the Chiefs, like the thing about the Kareem Hunt, like I consider this a high variance situation. And typically in GPPs, I deal with high variance situations, the opposite of ownership. So Pacheco is going to be back. And I think people are going to treat it as if Hunt is still the leader of the backfield. It's quite possible that I'm not saying Pacheco ends up being the leader of the backfield, but it becomes so much more of a split that like neither running back gets there. I'm not saying to play Pacheco at 6,200, but if Hunt is going to be 20, 25% owned, maybe 30% owned, and there's a little bit more viability leverage-wise to play the stack like Mahomes, Kelsey, and then play one of Hopkins or Xavier Worthy. And I'm perfectly fine taking a shot on Xavier Worthy because you're looking to win GPPs. Like DeAndre Hopkins is more the type of person that catches 5 balls for 40 yards and has 2 touchdowns, right? But he typically will negatively affect Kelsey, right? Like he's going to catch the touchdown that Kelsey would normally catch or vice versa. Xavier Worthy is the guy that's going to catch the 62-yard pass and, score the big touchdown. And at 5K, especially when there's not like great receiver value on the slate, like it's in the same price range as like the Bears receivers, who I'm not enthralled about playing in GPPs at least. I'm perfectly fine going with just a traditional Mahomes, Worthy, Kelsey double stack, and just hoping the Panthers are that bad and the Chiefs could actually make some big plays.
I'm fine with that, and I like the take on Hunt. Like Pacheco in the past, using Pacheco being there, I think is definitely a negative towards Hunt. Like he's not 25 or 30% to be optimal, and then you're adding in a running back the caliber of Pacheco. So it definitely hurts his ceiling. I like that's you've basically talked me into that stack completely. I really like that for GPPs.
Right. The thing about Hunt is that I have no idea what the running back situation is going to be. All I know is that people are way confident that Kareem Hunt at 5,700 is going to be a smash. And I just see more paths to failure than his ownership. Like you told me Kareem Hunt, most of the field is going to be concerned that Pacheco's back and he's going to be 10% owned. I'd be smashing him. So like, it really just comes down to where that effective ownership is. I think 5,700 for a running back against the Panthers. I see. I mean, obviously that's why you jump on board because you should be playing anyone against the Panthers. And the Panthers, Bryce Young stacks. Can we just both agree that they're F tier?
Yeah, we're not even going anywhere close to that. That's what keeps me from putting the Chiefs in the A tier. Is there's no run back.
I don't think you need a run back. The Chiefs just run them over.
So do you like them in the A tier?
No, I think they're B. I think the B. I think we'll see where it goes. Remember, we like even this stuff. I'm not sure if I can put anyone in the A tier. So like right now, to me, the Chiefs are the top, and we've only gone through one game. By the end of it, maybe I don't have anyone I'd put on the A tier, and then I'll have to choose a B tier team to go to the A tier. It's kind of that one of those types of slates where I see a lot of B tiers and a lot of F tiers, and not much like A or D. Like it's kind of like, oh yeah, they're pretty good, or I'm avoiding them like the plague, pretty much.
I have to start building my rules when I'm on this show with you, because you're very sharp, Blender. Very, very sharp.
Okay. Next game. I think it's the lowest total on the slate. It's the Vikings at the Bears. Vikings are a 3.5 point road favorite. 21.5 implied team total. The Bears with an 18-point implied team total. This is a game where I think I'm more likely to play the defenses than stack either of the offenses. But the Bears are cheap. And it's quite condensed. Like, they pretty much just run out. Like, DJ Moore, Allen, Odunze, Kmet. Like, they really don't cycle in wide receiver fours. Yeah, Swift and Roshan Johnson kind of switch it off in at the running back spot. I don't particularly want to attack the Vikings defense. The Bears only have an 18-point implied team total. But I'm not opposed. Like, I would rather play a Caleb Williams double stack than play a single Bear. Like, it's one of those games where it's like either Caleb Williams goes off and he could easily take a $4,900 Allen, a $4,800 Odunze, a $5,500 DJ Moore with him, or the Bears just completely fail and the Vikings just destroy him. And on the other side, you have Sam Darnold, you have Justin Jefferson, you got Aaron Jones there. I'm not all that thrilled about playing a 21.5 point implied team total at these prices. But obviously, Justin Jefferson has a ceiling at 8,100. I like other higher priced receivers on the slate than Jefferson, but I wouldn't call you. I would think it's perfectly fine if you wanted to play, you know, a Darnold, Jefferson, Hawkinson type of stack, but I wouldn't be prioritizing.
I feel like this time we're on the opposite ends of the spectrum.
But you like the Vikings?
I like the Vikings. And because of the price tags, people aren't going to play them. So I was going to put them right in there with the B tier with Kansas City. Darnold's going to be under 5% owned, I would imagine. Jefferson's going to be under 10% owned. So
now, from an ownership perspective, I do agree with you from an ownership perspective. I think for the ceilings, you're gonna get these guys at single digit owned.
You're gonna get them at single digit owned, and because of the price, it's just because of price. Like,
yeah, but also because of the team total. It's only a 21.5 implied team total. I mean, there are teams that have near almost a touchdown more than that are similarly priced that I'd rather play.
Yeah, but you could just play Darnold and Jefferson, and there you go. There's your stack.
I mean, you can. You're right. You can. I'm not. Hey, I was originally.
And you talked about how condensed it is on the other side. So, like, there's run back possibilities, and we know where the ball's going.
Well, no, I think no. Actually, the opposite. Like, you don't know who's hitting the ceiling on the Bears. All I know is that if Caleb Williams hits a ceiling, he's probably taking 2 out of the 3 wide receivers with him. So it's easier to double. That's what I meant. It's easier to double stack Williams than just try to find which one of the 3 receivers has the, the 30-point game. Probably not Keenan Allen, but I mean,
it's probably not Keenan Allen. That's what I was about to say. So, like, Odunze, DJ Moore. Who's the right wide receiver? He has the best matchup. Odunze. Yeah, so
you're going with the Vikings. Where would you put the Bears? Because I think if you're putting the Vikings on B, I'm putting the Bears on C.
I can do that with the Bears because they're condensed, and
it's a price thing. To me, we'll get to other teams that are similarly priced that you're like, why do I ever stack this team? Right? Like, to me, it's more of a price play. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to a D, but I mean, I don't think they're nuts to play the Bears. They're not an F tier team.
Yeah, I'm with you, and they're not going to be owned. So, yeah, C's fine for the Bears.
Okay, next game we got the Texans at home as an 8-point home favorite against the Titans. 24.25 implied team total for the Texans, 16.25 for the Titans. Like, here's another like I put the Titans very similar to like in the Bears category, other than the fact of like you got Will Levis at 4,900 and you got Calvin Ridley at 5,700. You got Westbrook-Ikhine 4,100. It's like I don't want to I don't want to play the Titans, right? But then you take a look at the Texans. I know we have his ownership at around 16, 17%, but I don't think Nico Collins is at 7,600 is going to be that owned. I think that from a price perspective, Mixon is at 8K. I think way more people are going to play HN. More people are going to play McCaffrey in this price range. So I think that'll mute Joe Mixon's ownership. Most of the season, we've seen the Texans, run the ball 30 times. We haven't seen like Stroud ceiling games. And the Titans are known as a pretty good defense. But I just think this game comes in under. I don't believe the ownership in this game. I believe the ownership that we have projected in this game is going to be lower than it is because I think there's more appealing options at every price point of all of these players. And I would not be shocked if a game like this was CJ Stroud plus Nico Collins plus Dalton Schultz plus Calvin Ridley. Like that kind of game stack, big play guys. It's not the greatest game environment, but at least the ownership isn't there because there are plenty of better game environments. It's just that we're going to talk about them and go, well, how do you play this game without running into 15% on guys, 20% on guys? I think you could do it in this game, but I'm still not excited about it because has the Texans passing game shown a ceiling at all this season? Really? Yet? No.
Not yet, but if Mixon's ownership goes up, which I think it may, I think that you're playing Stroud, Nico Collins, and all those Texans pass catchers as leverage with a run back of Calvin Ridley. I also think another way to play this game is to play the Will Levis side. I know you're going to throw up in your mouth when I say that. And playing with Calvin Ridley.
You play with Nico Collins, or you play with Joe Mixon or Nico Collins, though, on the other side, or just by itself?
Either or, whoever you feel. I don't know. Either or, I think is fine.
Right, but it's clear that Calvin Ridley at 5,700 is the clear big play wide receiver on the Titans.
Yeah, Westbrook-Ikhine has been playing better of late. Not that I want to play him, but
you can't rely on a 99-yard touchdown every week.
Yeah, you can't rely on it. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I think I'd prefer Collins over Mixon if I'm running the Levis stack back.
So where are we putting the Texans? Are we putting the Texans? Are they a B tier team also, or are they just one step below?
I think the Texans are a C, but I'm gonna. Do you want to go B? You seem like you want to go B.
I think I'm going to put it into B here because I think we're going to end up moving a B tier, one or two B tier teams up to A just to make it like we have to choose.
B's fine. You're not going to like this. I'm going to put the Titans in C.
Okay, I mean that's not awful. I'd put them in the D, but I mean
I think the Titans stack is better than the Bears.
Like that's like okay, I'm fine with that. So you'd rather play Levis than Williams?
Yeah, it's in a dome. The team totals, I think, higher, right? Would it be? No, it's not higher. It's not higher. Sorry. Yeah, Levis and Ridley. Like earlier in the year, the Titans, Houston was getting beat deep. Ridley's kind of come alive since Hopkins left. So, yeah, C's fine. You moved the Bears down to D.
Well, you said you'd rather play the Titans than the Bears, and we can't.
I think that you could still leave the Titans at the Bears in D, but just I'd put the Titans ahead of them. Remember we were doing that last year?
Oh, yeah. So we put them both in D like that.
You really want to put them? No, I was saying you can leave them in C and put yeah.
Okay, we'll put them this way. Okay.
Do you not like that? It's your show.
Fine. We're going to be moving them around by the end anyway, right? We got Detroit at Indianapolis. This is the highest the highest total on the slate. Detroit, they are a 7.5 point favorite. A 29-point implied team total for the Lions. 21.5 implied team total for the Colts. It's the Lions. They put up a lot of points. The Colts defense is not very good.
It's been better, though. It's been better with Buckner back, though.
Right. But they're playing inside on the fast track. Everyone that you would expect to be owned is going to be owned to some degree. No one's chalk in this game. I think Anthony Richardson may be over-owned on his side of the game, right? Because of, put up 28 fantasy points last week. Obviously, he's going to have to come from behind, probably, which means he's going to have to throw more. So 5,600, I can see the case for if this game shoots out that I think I'd rather have Richardson in my lineup than Goff in my lineup. But the Lions could put up 7 touchdowns, like no problem. The problem is that, it goes Montgomery 6,700, Gibbs 7,300, St. Brown 8,300. You always have Jameson Williams 6K. Sam Laporta is going to be back at 4,300. It's figuring out who has enough points. But if it was last week, everyone had the most points. Like, you could have played 5 Lions and probably did fine, but not every week they're going to put up 52 points. So what do you think about the Lions this week with Laporta back as a stack?
So when you referenced the Detroit team total, my stomach did a backflip because Dean last week on the People Show suggested that I have a Lion on every team. I don't really build my teams like that, and I really regretted it come the end of Sunday that I didn't have a Lion on every one of my team because they scored what? I think Amon-Ra and Goff together had 50 points or something. No, right. They had 90 points or something ridiculous. For me, I don't love the Detroit stack, but it's going to be low owned. And they have the highest team total.
Well, it's not going to be low owned.
What do you think it's going to be in terms of ownership?
I think Gibbs will be owned. I think St. Brown will be owned. I mean, it's not low owned. I consider to be like 5% minus, like 5 to 7% or whatever. Once it starts hitting double digits, it's like,
you're talking about pieces.
The quarterback is less important to me than the other parts of the team.
But the context.
I don't judge it by the quarterback ownership.
We're talking about the stack, correct?
Right. But what's the stack that you play? What would be the stack? Do you play Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jimmy? I mean, you play Gibbs and Brown.
I honestly might go to Laporta at 4-3, even though he's just coming back.
Right. So you play Goff, Brown, Laporta.
Yeah, something like that. Or Gibbs. I don't know. They're all options. For me, like, I think, B works.
They got to be in the B tier. They have a 29-point implied total.
That's what I'm saying. B works, yeah. And then on the run back, the issue with Richardson is Richardson's going to be chalky.
Right. He's going to be chalky. The receivers are not going to be chalky. The problem is that I'm not sure if, I think I'd be more likely, this may sound weird to some people, but it's not, to play the Lions stack, but play Richardson at quarterback.
It's weird to me, but yeah, I get it.
You understand what I'm saying? It's like, if this is a shootout, Goff is 6,600, but it's quite possible that Richardson outscores Goff, even though the Lions put up 35 points and it's a 35-21 game. But Richardson has 2 rushing touchdowns, and Goff's 303 is actually lower scoring for 1,000 more. That's if you're playing for it to be a shootout, I think Richardson is a better value than Goff. If you're playing for the Lions to just run them over, then obviously you're not playing any Colts.
When you look at a team like that, it always looks incorrect, but it's actually a super sharp way to play Richardson this week. You're going D?
Only because the ownership. I would put him in C, but then Richardson's going to be 2 owned. And do I really want to pair him with Michael Pittman and his bad back? No.
What about we can do an ode to Squirrel and pair him with Alec Pierce?
Oh, Alec Pierce doesn't even project well. Good luck. But you want to pay $4,900 for Alec Pierce? Go. Good luck. If Alec Pierce beats me at $4,900, then God bless you. That's fine. I ain't doing it.
Detroit.
Why not Ashton Doolin at that rate? Why don't we just go down to the practice squad?
Yeah, no, I get you. All right, leave him in D.
Because remember, these are for stacks. Like, I don't mind. Like who do you like? If I'm going to stack this game, it's going to be the Lions, and I just put Richardson. So does that count as a cult stack? A Richardson plus 2 Lions? Like, that's not really the basis of this list.
Yeah, I get you.
Okay, here's a team I want to play. We got the Patriots traveling down south to the Dolphins.
Oh, the Patriots?
No, I'm not saying I want to play the Patriots. You'll see. Dolphins are about a 7.5 point favorite. Yeah, that's what it looks like. 26.75 implied team total. Patriots with a 19.25 implied team total. The super chalk on this team is going to be Devon Achane at 7,500, and probably rightfully so, because his props look great. He's probably 6 targets out of the backfield. I mean, he's essentially the old school Alvin Kamara type of role, where he may not be on the field 100% of the time, but I mean, Mostert has almost been relegated to almost third down kind of duty, and then obviously some goal line carries. So I think 7,500 Achane. We have him at 22% owned. I wouldn't be surprised if he's 30+% owned with the Dolphins having this high of a team total. And I'll say what I said. Whenever Achane is chalk and the Dolphins have high implied team total, he didn't have an explosion game last week, but he surely didn't look injured. Tua is 5,800. Tyreek is 7,200. Jonnu Smith is now up to 4,100. I played this stack last week and did well with it. Not well enough, obviously, because the Lions and other things happened. I don't mind playing. Truthfully, I'm going to go back. Last week I had him in the top. This week I'm going to have him in the top again. Playing Tua stacks. I think are super sharp. And I mean, you could even play Tua Achane lineups if you want. Tua Achane Hill if you want to do it. But I prefer the ultra leverage of the Dolphins just, 3-4 passing touchdowns. And Tyreek Hill has 100 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he comes in at like 10, 12% owned rather than Achane's 30% owned. So what do you think about the Dolphins?
I like the Dolphins. I think they're fine in A. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I like the Patriots also, and mainly May and Henry. Yeah. I mean, May to Hunter Henry, I think, works on the Pats side.
No, I'm fine with that. And also May has upside on with his legs as well. So like Drake,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think I'd be going to like Booty. I'd probably prefer Douglas and Booty. But Henry is, I think, my favorite. I called the Bills Chiefs. I said pick the Bills on the Saturday show. They're going to win the game. Not a sports betting whatever tout or anything, but Hunter Henry touchdown I like this week. I don't know what's the number on it.
What, Hunter Henry?
Yeah.
Hunter Henry's touchdown prop in lineup HQ says plus 215.
Yeah, not great, but I like it.
It's not bad.
I like Henry to score. Yeah.
I wouldn't mind, truthfully, if you want to play the Patriots side, you play May with Stevenson also. May, Stevenson, Henry. I don't mind Ramondre in the spot either, like as a contrarian running back at 5,900. I mean, he's been catching a lot more balls out of the backfield than he was earlier this year or even last year. So I think he's viable there as well. But I think the main leverage point on in this game is Achane. And like, I'm much more willing to play Achane like in stacks and maybe not as much as a one-off, just ownership wise. Like to play like a May Henry Achane lineup sounds much more appealing to me than HN as a one-off, because if HN goes off in this game, the Patriots keep up with this game, Drake May's only 5,500. Hunter Henry's only 4,000. Like, most likely these guys are coming, like some Patriot, they're all cheap enough. Someone's coming along. Pop Douglas, one of these guys. I'm not saying I want to play Demario Douglas, but Keyshawn Booty, like, they're just all cheap. And the Patriots actually have a higher implied team total than the Panthers, than the Bears, than the Titans that we've already talked about. So, like, I don't think you're crazy, Bobby. I put the Patriots actually above the Titans and the Bears in the C tier.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I really like the Stevenson call too. The Dolphins' last 5 games are giving up a good number of pass catches, receiving yards to running back. So I think that's a pretty good spot. To, like,
I
if
would
you
be
want
shocked. I would not be shocked, Bobby. Divisional game like this, if the Dolphins lose.
Oh, I could see them losing too. Problem is, it's in Miami. Traditionally, the Pats haven't been great in Miami, but that doesn't matter. You can throw that out the window. But I do. The Stevenson call is super interesting, because I never would have even thought to add him to a May stack. I probably would have just went May Henry or May and Douglas.
Yeah, but I mean, he's been getting these, the outlet passes. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Like I said, it's a good spot too.
Right.
So, do you think you can? You don't have to force a double at May, but you definitely could.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That if you wanted to play a double, I think the running back is viable. Just like it with Tua, you can play Tua Achane. Well, I mean, Achane catches tons of balls out of the.
Well, Achane's like their second leading receiver currently, right?
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah. That is a good way to play them.
Next game. Let's see what you think about this. Tampa Bay at New York. The Buccaneers are a 6-point favorite on the road. 23.5 point implied team total. The Giants with a 17.5 implied team total. Daniel Jones, according to the chat, I haven't seen. I don't have my Twitter open. Has been released by the Giants. Tommy DeVito. 4K. We got a 4K quarterback here. What do you think about? I mean, it's not like he's gonna be 1% owned, because he's like cheap quarterback. The Giants have a 17.5 point implied total, which is not like, I mean, yeah, it's one of the lowest, but it's not like stupid low, stupid. Like, it's not 13 or anything. Mike Evans will be back for this game for the Bucs, but who knows how many snaps he's going to see with his first game back. Are you willing to play some Tommy DeVito, Malik Neighbors lineups? And maybe Malik Neighbors at 7,400. I don't know how many people are going to play him, but as Chop says in the lineup HQ in the tags, he put in a tag, right? That I'm reading Chop. This is Chop verbatim. Although I'm fairly certain Tommy DeVito isn't a good NFL quarterback, I know for certain that Daniel Jones wasn't. So I'm hoping the change of quarterback serves Neighbors well, as I really can't see it being much worse than what Jones has done for him most of the season. So this is like one of those high variance situations where I like leaning into. And it's like, it's quite possible Tommy DeVito, he played 6 games last year. They really didn't let him throw the ball much, right? They ran the ball a ton. But if they do throw the ball, they got one receiver that you could just, as long as they throw it in his general direction, he's talented enough to come down with the ball. And you have to assume that a quarterback like Tommy DeVito is doing a lot of first read passes, right? No matter what the coverage is. So is this a spot? I'm not saying it's a ceiling spot. I'm saying this is a boom or a complete bust spot that I would not be surprised if Malik Neighbors got 22 targets this game, if the Giants are actually going to pass the ball. And then Tommy DeVito's 4K. And how many points do you really need from Tommy? I mean, even if he gets you 14 points, you could still have a winning GPP line.
Yeah, it's more of a pricing thing with DeVito. Like, he's 4K, and we know he's just going to be throwing to Neighbors. So for me, I think you can put them in the C category. Feel like we're loading up the C category currently. Tampa Bay, I think is relatively interesting because we know it's condensed on the Giants side, and like getting to Baker, getting to Kate Otten, maybe Rashad White. I think that I have some.
I mean, how much do you think Evans is going to play? I mean, if you think Evans is full go, he's going to play 95% of snaps or whatever, and he's 7K, I think it's a great spot. But I mean, if he comes in and plays 35% of snaps, you shouldn't be paying 7K for him.
We'll need. I didn't say Evans. I said Otten and like Rashad White. I would imagine.
Yeah, but do you really want to pay these prices with Evans back? I mean, like Evans is gonna eat up, and even if he plays a third of the snaps, is just gonna eat up too much of the production.
White's only 5,400.
Okay, but he's only going to be in. But how many White touches are they going to be compared to Bucky Irving? You think this is a competitive game, or do you think the Buccaneers are going to be up and just running the ball with Irving? Because they really aren't running the ball with White. Them. I mean, White has like not gotten double-digit carries in God knows how long. I think it's more of a Bucky Irving game than it is anything else. If you're going to play the Buck side, I just don't like the pricing and how many players are like. You got McMillan, you got Jarrett, and you got Shepard, and I just think Evans being back, either you're playing Evans as part of the stack or you're playing nothing.
So we'll get the Evans news, like, I guess, later on in the weekend. So that's how I'd kind of gauge it. I do think that like, the Giants are a home dog. They're bringing in a new QB. Like, there might be. I think they could keep this game competitive. So I'm with the Giants and C. I think that's fine.
Okay. But I'm totally against you with the Bucks. I just think the Bucks are a horrible stack. I'd rather play one of the running backs.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, you could. So where would you play with the Bucks?
D.
Okay, that's fine.
I'd rather play the. I mean, I'd rather if I'm going to play this game, I'd rather play a lineup more like Tommy DeVito plus Malik Neighbors plus Bucky Irving, or plus Mike Evans. So like, I feel like the guys that you would want to play on the Bucks would be Evans returning, or Bucky Irving with the Giants. Just completely implode. They're just running the ball 20 times. It's just that all these Bucks are priced more than they should be with Evans, but they've been these prices because Evans and Godwin have been out for weeks. So it's like, is Kate Otten really a $5,500 tight end with Evans getting targets also? Is Sterling Shepard 4,200 with Evans getting targets also? If you tell me that Evans is only coming in and playing 5 snaps, okay, then we can start talking about the Buccaneers. But even if he comes in and plays 40% of snaps, and he doesn't have a tag. I mean, I wouldn't. I think it's more likely that Evans comes in and plays 90+% of snaps, like he's regular. I think there's, truthfully, Bobby, there's more of a chance that Evans comes in, plays 95% of snaps, and in the second quarter tweaks his hammy and then is out for the game. Like, I think that is the more likely outcome. But he comes in with the intention of playing most of the snaps.
All right, so Giants and C and Bucks and D. We're fine.
Okay. Okay. We may have different takes on this game. Who knows? We don't talk beforehand. The Cowboys head into the nation's capital to face the Commanders. Commanders are an 11.5 to 11.5 point home favorite. 28-point implied team total. Cowboys 17.5 point implied team total. Jaden Daniels may be the highest owned quarterback on the slate. Brian Robinson Jr. at 5,600 will probably be one of the top 5 owned running backs, probably 20+% owned. Everything else is kind of there. The popular way to stack based on this would be something like Daniels plus Noah Brown at 4,200 plus Ertz at 3,800. You also have Luke Schoonmaker there at 2,500. Probably going to be a popular like punt tight end if you wanted to use one, right? Probably more in cash games than necessarily in GPPs. So first talk about the Commanders side, because obviously they have the second highest implied team total on the slate. I think it's possible that this game is much lower scoring than what people think it's going to be. I'm not sure. Like, Jaden Daniels obviously has the ceiling, but is this the type of game? Like, we talk about it with Lamar, right? We tend to want to play Lamar in close games where he has to perform. He has to rush 60, 70 yards or whatever. Is Jaden Daniels a similar type quarterback where they're much more likely to not design any rushes for him when, like, they could just give the ball to Brian Robinson and Austin Eckler and just go, here's Cowboy rush defense. Just give 5-6 yards of play. And next thing you know, it's the first game to go to the witching hour on Red Zone. And you're like, wow, that game was fast. And the Commanders win, like 27-6. Right. And no one really gets there. Right. Because you got McLaurin at 6,800. The Commanders could throw to multiple different people. I'm not a big fan of the ownership in this game for people being so confident that, oh, no, the Commanders are going to put up 4+ touchdowns. And obviously all these guys are going to get there. I'm not convinced of it.
The one guy that I think differentiates the Jaden Daniels stack is CeeDee Lamb. Because I feel like CeeDee Lamb, we have him under 10% owned. And you're just running back every Daniels stack that you possibly can with Lamb because you embrace Lamb's variance like we kind of talked about throughout the show. And yeah, Cooper Rush is throwing him the ball, but he still is CeeDee Lamb, even though if he's doing rap videos after losses and stuff with Trayvon Diggs there last week. But we still think that, like, as a football player, he's CeeDee Lamb. He's not a full-blown rapper yet. So I think he's still one of the best receivers in the league. And for me, I like Daniels. I like playing him with the CeeDee Lamb run back. You can play Ertz. You can play McLaurin. I'm still putting them in B.
So you're putting the Commanders there. I'm putting on the bottom of B.
Okay, that's fine.
I think, right. I just think there are more paths for this game just running out. With the Cowboys, where do you put the Cowboys then? I don't put I put the Cowboys, and I'm not putting them in F. There's a case to be made. Talent-wise with CeeDee Lamb, I'm with you. If you want to play a Cooper Rush CeeDee Lamb lineup, I don't think that's an F tier stack, but I don't think it's a C tier stack.
I think you have them perfectly in D. I think you can do that. You know what? I was thinking about this. I know he hasn't really shown it, but a couple of years back, Dak went out and Cooper Rush played pretty well. He hasn't played well yet, but eventually you can't play any worse, right? So
right,
that D tier is fine.
And you could even play. You could stack it up. You could do Rush, Lamb with Luke Schoonmaker at 2,500.
Oh, there you go.
Right? And you could play McCaffrey in that line. Now you have the money to spend on anything practically.
Yeah. I like Ertz a good bit on the Washington side. I want to see how that.
He's going to be owned 3,800. I think there's going to be a lot of Daniels Ertz, like single stack lineups.
Yeah.
Daniels Ertz. That's why I said the owners. The thing that I don't like about the Commanders is more the ownership. You tell me that this game is less owned, then sure. That's the only reason I wanted to put him down on the top of the C tier rather than the B tier. It's just, I think the Commanders will be higher owned than the Lions. And I don't think that it should be.
I'm making my rules right now for this group. Yeah. I like the Lamb run back. I think the Lamb run back should differentiate Daniels enough. And I don't hate Cooper Rush and larger field stuff. Cooper Rush to Lamb. Maybe have one of the running backs as a run back. Yep.
Okay, next game. Let's see what your opinion of this is. Okay, we got the Broncos heading to Las Vegas to face the Raiders. Broncos are a 6-point road favorite. 23.5 implied team total. The Raiders, 17.5 implied team total. Why don't we just play Bo Nix to Cortland Sutton every week and just the field doesn't do it enough? Cortland Sutton will be one of the top 5 owned wide receivers on the slate, I think. Probably come in 16 to 18% owned, maybe 20% owned. Bo Nix is 6,300. He'll be owned, I guess. I just think that the Broncos could. I think the Raiders are bad. I just think the Raiders are just bad. Bad. That Bo Nix could just rush for a touchdown, throw 2 touchdowns to Sutton, and they're playing inside. They're not playing in Denver. I just think the Raiders are bad. I know the Raiders' prices are good because Jacoby Myers always pops at 5,100, and that's someone that play him in your cash games, but probably not in GPPs. I'd much rather take a shot on Brock Bowers than anyone else on the Raiders side. But I'm not excited about the game, other than the fact of the Broncos could come out and score 30 points this game, and it's probably Nix to Sutton, and it's a single stack, and then I could just play the rest of my lineup any way the hell I want.
Yeah, so with everyone kind of probably paying up for Kelsey, I think the Bowers call is sharp, and I don't mind stacking him with Minshew. I would put the Raiders in the C category.
C, oh.
Yeah.
I put him in the bottom of D.
Yeah, but I can run it back with Broncos that we like. We like Sutton. Correct? I think
the Raiders are bad, Bobby. They're bad. Last week, the Jets projected well, and Cardi told me, maybe you should stack the Jets. I'm like, we're putting the Jets in the bottom tier because the Jets are bad. I don't care what the numbers say. The Jets are bad. And I was right. The Jets are bad.
But Minshew's 4,800. He's under 5K. You stack him with Bowers. I think you could stack him with Myers. Myers has been playing well. I'd rather play Cooper
Rush and CeeDee Lamb over Minshew and Bowers.
The game environment might be better in the dome, though.
They're the Raiders.
You're making good points again. All right, leave him in D.
Okay. Maybe we'll move around. I'm just saying that I'd rather play the Cowboys. I think I'd rather play the Colts. I may not rather play the Bucks. So maybe
I just don't hate them. I don't hate them as much as you hate them.
But D isn't hate. Hate is F. F is like we don't even consider it, right? Yeah. I mean, anything in the middle we could argue about. I mean,
because we know it's condensed on the Broncos side to Sutton.
Yeah, well, that's why you play the Broncos. That's why don't you just play? Well, we know it's condensed, so when the Broncos score 5 touchdowns, well, why don't we just take those 5
I would
touchdowns?
rather play 4,800 for Minshew than 63 for Bo Nix.
So you'd rather play a Minshew, but Bowers is 6,300, so it's like any savings you got on Minshew.
But Bowers is in the same range as Chalk Kelsey, right? Isn't he? So
yeah, but I'd rather just pay down a tight end.
Yeah. What's Kelsey's price? I just want to see.
Kelsey's 5,800. Kelsey's gonna be more owned than Bowers. There's another tight end that I prefer to Bowers also, but we haven't gotten to him yet.
Okay. George Kittle, I would guess, since there's one game left.
No, there's 2 games left. We got
two games left. Sorry, 2
right.
games.
Okay, 2 games left.
Tucker Kraft. Is it Tucker Kraft?
Nope.
I'm waiting to play Tucker Kraft again.
Okay, well, let's talk about that game. We got the 49ers at the Packers. The Packers are a 3-point home favorite. Packers with a 24.75 implied team total. The 49ers only have a 21.75 implied team total. They have not looked very good. But the 49ers will be chalk. Christian McCaffrey will probably be one of the top owned running backs on the slate, and Juwan Jennings will be one of the top wide receivers on the slate. And I want to play the Packers stacks over the 49ers stacks. These are prices, I think, yes, obviously, these guys have good floors, good ceilings. I think, for cash games, I probably will have McCaffrey and Jennings in my lineup. But the 49ers only have, I made this point with Alex on Wednesday, that an $8,500 running back for a team that has a lower implied point total than the Broncos, than the Buccaneers, it has the same implied total as the Colts. So it's yes, I know it's Christian McCaffrey, but we typically are playing Christian McCaffrey when the 49ers are at home favored by a touchdown and the projection looks like stupid. Of course we're playing that. This is one of the lowest projections you'll see on McCaffrey the entire year. Of course, he's cheaper now. He's 8,500 and not like 9,500. I don't mind Jawan Jennings at 5,600, but I mean, he's going to be very chalky. The Packers aren't. Now, the problem with the Packers is that, you know, who the hell gets the ball, right? Between Watson, Dobbs, Reed, Kraft, Dontavian Wicks. So that's the problem I have with the Packers. I just think that the field overweights the 49ers a lot more in this spot than the field. I mean, like, do you want to play Brock Purdy stacks? Like, you want to play Purdy Jennings lineups into ownership when the 49ers are a road dog?
I do not. And I'm in perfect agreement with you that we should be playing the Packers over the San Francisco 49ers this week. Jordan Love to Christian Watson. Any interest there? Embrace Watson's
variance. Does he play enough stuff? Like, dude, their snap counts are all over the goddamn place.
He's 5'2". I don't know.
I'm with you with Tucker Kraft. Let's fill the tight end spot with Tucker Kraft. I'm fine with that. So
Tucker Kraft is
3,900, and then you find a receiver.
So we can do that.
I wouldn't mind, Bobby, playing Jordan Love single stack with Tucker Kraft, and that's it. And just like whatever receivers get the ball, if he spreads it around and gets 5 touchdowns, then who cares? You may not have needed any of the other receivers anyway. They all have good scores, but not like must-have scores. And Tucker Kraft has 20 points.
I'm fine with that, but I want a ceiling with a 25-point team total. Someone there that's a more
Jaden Reed, 5,900.
I think I prefer Christian Watson. I don't know. Let me see snaps.
Okay. I mean, he projects better. For his price, he projects a little bit better. I mean, you have to agree. You have to agree, Bobby, that finding the Packers receivers that goes off in a game where Jordan Love has 30 fantasy points is tough.
No, that's why we're playing them in tournaments, right?
Right.
I don't know. I like Kraft. I prefer Watson to Reed, although Reed's obviously viable. And yeah, I like Love. So Packers in C, 49ers in D. That's a go.
At the tops of each. Like I put the Packers as like a low B, high C team. And I put the 49ers as a low C, high D team. And it's primarily because of ownership. It's not like I think the 49ers are like awful. Just that I think people are going to play the 49ers like they were playing the 49ers when they had 28.5 point implied totals. And they have a touchdown less implied total. So the ceiling has to be lower on these guys.
Yeah. What would you do individually with CMC?
Individual, I'd be more. I mean, truthfully,
I feel like I'll be under.
No, I'm definitely going to be under.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I don't even think he's a must in cash games. Like, that's how far I don't think you need to play him on DraftKings. Like, I think you're playing Achane easily over McCaffrey, and I think you could get away with a Achane, Kareem Hunt, Brian Robinson type of lineup. So you don't have to play some like $4,500 wide receiver, or you don't have to play Schoonmaker at 2,500. I don't think Christian McCaffrey is a must. Is he a good bet for 16 to 18 points? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm with you
on McCaffrey. I think we need to be under on McCaffrey.
Right. Last game on the slate. We got the Cardinals at the Seahawks. This is the tightest spread. It's only 1 point spread. Seahawks are favored by 1 with a 24.25 implied team total. Cardinals 23.25 implied team total. And the tight end that I was talking about that I do want to play for leverage on the slate off of Kelsey is Trey McBride at 5,600 because I want to play Kyler Murray lineups.
Okay, good. We're in agreement because I'm putting Arizona in A.
Okay, beautiful. You took the right. Okay,
yeah.
So we're on the we're 100%. You tell me why you like the Cardinals.
Well, it's Kyler. He's going to be under 10% owned. Both these team totals are 24. It's going to be a tight game. Easy run backs. Guys like McBride aren't going to be owned. I would imagine Marvin Harrison isn't going to be owned. DK Metcalf, not really going to be owned. So this game has a lot of ceiling potential, and we're seeing low ownership.
Right. On everyone on the Seahawks, I like also. So I
Me
like
too. Yeah.
Walker,
Everyone.
Metcalf, JSN. And I don't mind playing Geno stacks. I just think Geno, the Seattle side is going to be more popular. I think Geno at 5,700 is going to be popular in cash games. I think people, I mean, you can double stack Smith, Metcalf, JSN on the slate from a price perspective. I think that's fine. I just think it'll be a little overowned. We have all these Seahawks guys in the double digits of ownership, and we also have James Conner probably be in the top 5 running backs. I think the running back ownership is going to go Achane 1, McCaffrey 2, Hunt 3, Robinson 4, Conner 5, like something like that, where Conner will be 15 to 18% owned. I don't mind Conner. Like, I don't mind playing Conner in another lineup, but if I could get Trey McBride at 8% and Marvin Harrison Jr. at 4% and Kyler Murray at 5%, give it to me. Like, there you go. I mean, and if you would just want to play, if you just want to play Murray McBride, I think that's fine also. So, like, or Murray Harris if you don't want to play just single stack Kyler Murray, and then you could pick any of the Seattle pieces that you want.
JSN's the one that I wouldn't love to play in a chalk. I'd rather play Metcalf or Lockett.
Right.
I'm with you on Murray. I think it's an A. You're going to you put Seattle in B. I think that's fine.
Do you think this is fine?
Yeah, I don't. B or C would be when we have them in the bottom of.
Okay.
B.
So let's start moving these around because we need at least 2 F tier teams, right? We have 2 A tiers. We're not going to move anyone up into the A tier.
Put the Bucks in F. I know you want to put the Bucks in F. Just put them in F.
I would put the Raiders.
No. The Raiders are playing in a dome. I'm telling you.
But I put the Bucks in that. I don't like the stack. I don't mind the Bucks. I just don't like the stack. That's the key part.
Okay.
So we got to move. Let's see.
We need an A tier.
No, we already got 2 A tier teams. We need to move one of the B. We need to move a C tier team down to D tier, right? So out of all the C tier teams, what team? You have the Packers, the Patriots, the Titans, the Bears, the Giants. If you had
obviously going to be the Giants.
So we're moving the Giants down to.
Yep.
Okay.
I feel like we're uneven here.
No, we're going to be even because now we're going to be moving.
I guess you move Seattle down to C.
Seattle down to C. Right. And then we still need to move another. Out of these B tier teams, which one do you want to move down? Usually I moved because of ownership. I moved the Commanders down. But this is how I would set it.
I would move the Broncos down. It seems like you like the Broncos.
Yeah, no, I think the Broncos are too.
I think the Broncos. I don't like the Broncos.
I would play the Broncos over the Vikings. Like, I would rather play a Bo Nix, Courtland Sutton lineup than a Sam Darnold, Justin Jefferson lineup.
Can we make a jelly bean bet here that Sam Darnold outperforms Bo Nix and Sam Darnold's and Jefferson outperform Bo Nix and Sutton?
I mean, that's not fair because they're higher priced. I mean, if you want to price adjusted, I'll make the jelly bean bet price adjusted. Right? What's the combined salary for Jefferson? Let me put this in. Jefferson's 8,100 and Darnold 5,900. 81 plus 59 is 140. Now I'm gonna make this right. We're gonna put the multiplier here, and then Sutton is 58 and Nix is 63.
Yeah,
58 plus 63 is 121. So 121 into 140. 121 to 140 divided by 121. So I would need like a 1.16 multiplier. So my side, it'd be my side, Nix plus Sutton, times 1.16 will be higher than Darnold Jefferson at 1.
We can do it.
Okay, Jelly Bean bet. There you go. They're playing the Raiders, and the Raiders are bad. That's my theory. That's dude. I know people.
I'm confident. I'm
like,
confident.
You're looking at all the numbers. You're looking at the
I'm confident in my
leverage and
guys.
SimLabs. It's just like sometimes the answer is just the other team is bad. Just they're bad.
Okay.
When they punt 7 times and the Broncos have the ball for 47 minutes out of the game,
and they're running
that's a lot more opportunities to score points. Oh yeah, sure, yeah, they'll run but when they run 82 plays, I don't care if they run the ball 40 times.
Okay.
Okay, so here we go. We got it all evened out, but we're both in agreement on the Cardinals, and you're with me on the Dolphins. You're not. Maybe we'll move the Cardinals to number 1 compared to the Dolphins, but you're with me.
Yeah, I think that's the best. I think Cardinals number 1 is the best way to do it. I like the Dolphins though too,
and I think with the Cardinals, if you play a Murray McBride lineup, you can play Achane in that lineup. Like you play chalk Achane, play the chalk run. You can play. The thing I like about the Cardinals is that you could essentially play the chalk running.
Play whoever you want, and he's
right.
Leverage in the McBride. I just like the McBride play because it's leverage off 2 high-owned players on the slate. It's leverage off Connor, and it's leverage off of Kelsey, and Murray himself is leverage off of Connor, right? So,
right,
it's a really good stack.
And then if you play the Dolphins, you play the Dolphins double with Tyreek. And then running, but then you can play Connor in that lineup, right? You play Connor, like you play Hunt or Connor in that lineup, and not Achane. And then the rest of your lineup could be whatever. Then as long as you're not playing.
We're still friends after this show, even though there was a lot of disagreement.
There should be disagreement. If we just agreed with each other, what the hell would be the point? Right? This is the tiers of the compromise. Like this is just a compromise. Like my tiers may look a little bit different. Like the Raiders would be here at least on the F tier or whatever. at least you sold me on the Cowboys. Like the Cowboys, I was going to go at F tier team.
I wish I could tell you on the Broncos, but you're gonna die on that hill.
Well, I'm not going to die on the hill. I'm just going to lose a jelly bean. So Bobby, what else you got coming up this weekend? For people to check, other than 9:30 in the morning for the People Show on Sunday.
Tournament takes tomorrow at noon with Kirkwood and Noto. Pretty positive. Noto's I don't know. Noto's sticking on for the rest of the year, but earlier in the year he had to take some time out. But he's definitely gonna be on tomorrow. And then Saturday and Sunday, 9:30 a.m. Dean complains about it all the time, but it's the People Show with me, Dean, and Tim Buell. So hopefully you guys check it out.
Check that out on the channel. Hit that thumbs up button on your way out the door. Give me those thummy thumbs. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell to always know when we go live. Tune in Sunday mornings, 9:30 Eastern, leading all the way up until lock at 1 p.m. Eastern. So always click that notification bell to you get notified when it's on. And I'll be back with you next week because I'm always here for you Tuesday through Friday, talking about all things you're thinking about in daily fantasy, props, and pick'em on RotoGrinders Today.